passionately love what you're doing. Consider the impact that you're going to put into that life. Human touch and interaction is very important in mental health too. Of course, later in years, they feel they were very judged, and that would kind of change or turn to something else in terms of mental health. You could visit the hospital over and over, paying the physicians money over and over. Eventually, they remind you, please, can you see a psychologist or a psychiatrist? When you get into this space, be as multi-skilled as possible, and also be able to not discriminate your clients.
Welcome to Daktari Tone, where voices, perspectives, and sounds relating to healthcare practitioners and matters health are amplified. This is a podcast by Daktari Online, created for healthcare professionals across Kenya. Each episode brings you honest conversations, expert insights, and real-life stories from the front lines of care. Welcome back to the Daktari Tone podcast. With me, I still have Celestine Omondi, an occupational therapist and psychologist. In this session, we're going to delve into leadership, innovation, and getting to still learn more about her being in her journey as an occupational therapist and psychologist. And in our prior segment where we left at, she was explaining to me if she's ever caught herself at a position where she gets to start to have OT on someone, a friend, or even herself. And my cheesy question to her was, in these sessions that we have had together, have you OT'd?
If I've OT'd you.
Yes. I would have spoiled that, I figured.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kerubo. Probably I was concentrating a lot on the subject that you're asking me, that I did not look at the OT factors or the psychology factors I need to check out on you. So you outsmarted me.
Oh, nice. I got you. But now I feel like as much as I've got you, you're going to OT me now in this segment. I don't know why. As much as you've got,
I'm making it intentional.
So I'm gonna have it tough after.
Ish.
Okay. So now on leadership, you are the CEO of Oasis Mental Health Limited. If you could tell us about that. You've cut across being someone who starts something. So leadership is already seen in your pattern. Even the way you were speaking so about your dad being, even call yourself a spanner girl. I caught that. And that's already, and even you want it to be a policewoman. Authority is already just overwritten and written on you. So now let's delve now to you now having this leadership. Now you're a CEO at Oasis. How is that? And yeah.
Actually, I'm the operations manager, not the CEO, at Oasis Mental Health Limited, a position I took up early in the year. There was a gap, and then, I happened to clinch on the job. So it's purely a mental health hospital with fairly a small staff force. And I would say that my journey to leadership started at the age of 27 years is when I became a manager the first time, and I was taking care of the National Spinal Injuries Hospital. I was the head of the department with an AI holder. So that's where I started my leadership journey. And I'm a leader who does not believe in sitting behind the desk. I also still continue with clinical work. The reason is governance issues are things you will do for summer once in a while or that, but I didn't want to sit behind the desk. So I still practically do work in clinicals. So that's where my leadership started, and which I did. I started from that point. That was actually the only spinal injury hospital in the country, and specialized in spinal injuries until 97 when the bomb blast happened, 98. Then in 99, I got the assignment to head the rehabilitation for bomb blast survivors. which was a big pre-USAID project, which I did for 3 years. But this project was embedded in, my care was for rehabilitation of persons who were physically injured in the bomb blast. And so it was a bigger portfolio. And so when the funding for USAID in bomb blast survivors fizzled out, I was seconded in an organization which is Association for the Physically Disabled of Kenya, and then I was given a role as the rehabilitation coordinator. So at that point is where I rose to start doing community-based rehabilitation. And with other responsibilities, I was a grants manager. So I used to do fundraising, proposal writing, managing in the informal settlement. And of course, still my clinical work was surfacing, and that's why you would hear me earlier discussing with you about the clients I had in Mukuru and how I worked with the families, because I practically still would work as I do supervision. That notwithstanding, in between, I also did a fellowship in inclusion rehabilitation in the UK. When I came back is when I had fire about inclusion, and I realized we were limiting our children back home. And that's how the real fire of inclusion continued, something I was doing, but I was actually meeting a lot of resistance. But now I would practically come back home and know that inclusion works. So at the helm of that leadership, I stayed there for about 14 years. Then I moved into Kenyatta National Hospital, where I also came in, and by the time I was of exit, I was the head of the department, the chief occupational therapist. And of course, now I am at Oasis Mental Health Limited.
And I told you they must be a lot. So I was right to oversee that.
You're good at reading in between the lines.
Yes. And now, at Oasis, you've mentioned a lot of, you leading very many positions, all cutting through all the institutions that you have been in. And again, that speaks a lot about you taking charge and not just being a boss, but leading. Yes, and how, before I get to that question on now Oasis Mental Health Limited, how do you stay grounded in your purpose while carrying the weight of leadership?
How do I stay grounded? Actually, that takes me back into the fact that for you to succeed as a leader, you've got to be a servant. You cannot preach what you cannot do. So if you want, for me, it's worked well in terms of teamwork, executing goals, achieving them, is the fact that you work with people, do it with people, let them see you do it, correct, mentor, coach people, inspire people. You can't be a dictatorial or authoritarian leader and expect results. Let them know you have knowledge of what's going on and be able to walk the journey. There is nobody small in an organization. Respect the cleaner, because they're important to your purpose.
If they're not there, the place will be there.
Respect the board.
Yes.
They're important to the governance of the organization. So I think that mantra of servant leadership is what has carried me along.
That's a nice term, servant leadership.
Yeah, servant leadership. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with your current now position as an operating officer, I've said, at Oasis Mental Health, what culture are you now building? With all, because you've told me now the past you. Of course, you carry some past with you. You relearn and learn the present you and now the future you. So where you are at now, what is that culture that you have built at within Oasis for both the staff and clients?
Okay, I'll tell you, at Oasis Mental Health Limited, the culture that I found that was already in place there is halfway home. Oasis is one institution you'll get into and you will not have the feeling of a mental medical facility. The staff interact with the patients, and that's something I liked for whoever started. The quite a number of Dr. Makanyengo, Dr. Kigamwa, Dr. Bukusi, Dr. Madai, quite a number of doctors who started off that institution who actually embedded the halfway home concept. And that's what I found there. Pretty good. Because there is no debate. You'll find they're playing, what do you call it, lawn tennis, and they're playing with all the staff. Mm-hmm. They're playing Scrabble, they're playing with all board games, they're playing with all the staff. Yes. They're playing pool, they're playing with all the staff. Mm-hmm. So that for me is what I would like to continue nurturing to better and for better outcomes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. And now, as a founding member of the Counselors and Psychologists Board, what progress and challenges have you seen in mental health regulation and practice?
I wouldn't say I'm a founding member, but we are among the first cohorts members. Is the challenging bit is we realize that the Mental Health Act was just passed in 2022, 2023. Yeah, and being it's just the other day, operationalizing these things in our country takes time. There are many good things the board would be looking at in the best interest of the citizens in terms of mental health, but they may seem to be slowed down, but it's because of the bureaucratic ways of implementing these things. So for me, that would be the challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What vision for mental health in Kenya do you see over the next 10 years?
I'll give you a personal vision that I would like to see in terms of mental health. In terms of mental health is unconditional acceptance of mental health, no stigmatization, mental health be an agenda in the boardroom, on the corridors, in the families, without stigmatization.
Aha. Ooh, well said.
Cheap, available, and accessible mental health services.
And with that, because that now touches on limited access, affordability and quality of mental health access, what are the major policy or infrastructure gaps that you see currently in the space of mental health care in Kenya?
I'm looking at mental health. First of all, let's start with the human resource. Let human resource for taking care of mental health be cascaded to the community. Let the mental health space have mental health champions at every space of working place. Let families be aware of mental health spaces that they can get help from. Reduce the prices of mental health medication. Make them easily available and affordable locally. Yeah.
Okay. Now we've touched on vision. What is that one national policy that you would either add or change regarding mental health in Kenya?
What is that one policy I would add in terms of early identification and preventive, so that we deal with preventive than curative?
Especially hapo kwa watoto. I am sorry to say, because I think you've scared me.
Traumatized you?
Yeah. I'm not yet a mom, but I'm looking forward to. But then when you were mentioning this, I started just seeing my nephew. I really love my nephew. It's just a few months. They are 11 months. So I'm just seeing him, and I'm like, wait, did I notice an ADHD somewhere? Is he hyperactive?
Yeah, it triggers you to start thinking. Yeah.
Is he growing well? Or did I do something wrong that maybe might reach him to acquire something? Yes. And I'm like, if I am feeling this way with that policy, then it will even encourage parents to even start, just for it to be, because when we go to the hospital with babies, we just go for the general checkup. We go check height, go check weight, and then we check, are they okay now? Blood samples, pressure, and things like that. But then occupational therapy, I believe it doesn't come into the mind.
Not at the first contact, but my desire, the vision would be that every point of entry in medical education, communities, should there be a mental health perspective that is looked into. You could visit the hospital over and over, paying the physicians money over and over. Eventually, they remind you, please, can you see a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
Which maybe can be too late.
If it was done at inception as a preventive measure or early identification, then there would be we'll nip the problem as early as possible.
That even explains why it makes so much sense. We have a lot of mental illness, mental cases, even when we are older, because some things we just overlooked them, we misinterpreted them, and then the terms that we just throw without diagnosis, that I'm depressed, I am not okay, and maybe there's something deeper or in depth, and oof. Today you've gotten if you are to have a follower, you've gotten a follower.
Hooray, one more vote.
Because what are those? Hey, my lord.
In mental health advocacy, one more vote.
Yes. Okay, now how can the government, NGOs, and private health sector collaborate better to expand mental health and rehab?
I'm looking at a holistic approach to mental health care in the country, a consortium of organizations with all their expertise and different ways of space to be in, to be able to have a platform that they can be able to discuss mental health policies and implement, operationalize them. That's what I'm looking at, and a good budget from the government that would support mental health activities.
Okay, now talking about funds, this is just one question I have now around that area. Where do you feel, because as much as I said this gadget has everything, you also have teletherapy. Now everything now is just here. If I want to speak to a therapist, I still have to access my phone. But then what do you think about the role of technology around mental health care, remote monitoring, apps, playing the future of your field?
It's enhancing uptake for care and therapy, both OT or psychology. It's enhancing. It's only that probably also looking for a hybrid approach. The human touch and interaction is very important in mental health too.
Okay, now my last question, and then we get now to the fun segment, and you will start. So my last question is, if you could, what advice would you give aspiring therapists, psychologists, or health leaders about staying relevant in the next decade? After you mentioned 3 decades.
For me, first of all, for the aspiring or the young ones, passionately love what you're doing. Consider the impact that you're going to put into that life. Okay. Life-changing first, not your finances. Of course, you need the finances, but when you're passionate about it, finances will follow the passion, because you will be interested in seeing the life change. 2, be as multi-skilled as possible, because there are certain things that do not present only in one direction. It could be coming from a very different direction. I would look at it as a child who had probably a learning difficulty as they were growing up, and people did not identify they had a learning difficulty, and they're always compared by the neighbor's child who, you go to the same school, I've paid very high school fees, I've taken you to a high-end school, but probably it's just books, not his books or her thing. Then, of course, later in years, they feel they were very judged, and that would kind of change or turn to something else in terms of mental health. So I'm looking at a space whereby when you get into this space, be as multi-skilled as possible, work passionately, be interested in changing people's life, and also be able to not discriminate your clients in whichever level they are at.
Wow, that's such an inspiring perspective, and it's clear. Your leadership is grounded in empathy, getting to understand concern, and still looking forward to how we can problem solving, literally. That's what I caught. There's a lot of problem solving with you, which is a spirit that, I would really want it to be cut across, other than just the health sector, cut across every other sector. And yeah, that was really great. Now, and I've learned a lot, and I'm still yet to learn. Still in learning a lot. There's still a lot of question marks apart. Like you're still making me have the urge to no, there's still something missing here. But because I've known you now, I'm glad to have known you now. I will answer all those questions. So a question for me. Yes.
Yeah, I like the enthusiasm you have about mental health and the fact that you'd really want it to be felt in all corners, in the grassroots and everywhere. So for me, that's very hopeful from your end. And that makes me ask, is there anything you do about advocating on mental health within the space in which you operate from?
Yes. So I'll call myself an advocate for mental health by sharing lived experiences and stories and giving human touch. So I get to, just as you said, structure is different. The same way as that structure is different, that means there's a story behind what has happened, what has transpired. That means stories are different. I might have ADHD, the next person might have ADHD. Mine might be acquired, they might be born with. That's a story. And in the same breath, for this that is acquired, it can also be acquired differently. And so when we bring this out, at least to cancel the stigmatization around it and also to cancel the myths and misconceptions around it, I get to tell the stories of lived experiences and even solution-based stories, because sometimes we'll get out there people talking about these things, but then maybe they didn't reach an end solution. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but at least we are getting to manage. And that's why I asked that question of management. Where are we at the moment? Are we just people living with mental illness and doing nothing about it? And the fact that still we are people, we are social people, we are social beings, regardless if you even decide to hold yourself up on the phone or stay on your machine, there's still a point where you're still going to interact with someone. And when you do, it totally shows your person, and it can even affect now the next person. So yeah, that's how my advocacy is in mental health. And what I'm telling you to even meet you today is it's an opportunity, because to even tell the stories, I also include experts' voices, because of course I cannot talk of something I do not know. And right now you've already inspired me to just write about ADHD, I'm sorry to say. And so you will be my reference at very many points and instances, because I cannot talk about something I entirely don't understand. And yeah, so for me, my question for you is, after a long or emotionally heavy day, how do you recharge?
Wow. Actually, I have a tradition that I have done. I normally just don't leave work and get straight home.
Okay, what do you do?
I'll pass by actually probably it's a problem, a mall. I'll pass by the church. Our churches are open all the time. Get in, have a silent moment. When I reach home, I just don't get out of my car. Boop. I'll sit in there a bit. Then I'll walk in. Actually, it's traditionally, they know even if they've had the engine on, they will not open that gate as quick as they want to. I just stay out there.
At that moment, what happens? I'm curious. That silent moment, yes, what's...
I basically don't get onto my phone during the day. People complain a lot, we look for you and we don't get you. Okay. I have a practice that so long as I'm with clients, I do not pick my phone. So that would also be a moment I'm looking up at my phone calls. So I'm having discussions which are very different from work. So that's how I unwind at the end of the day. But I also have a me time, and I deliberately do this over the weekends. And yes, and I also go for supervision, which helps me to unwind.
Interesting. Me time. What are your hobbies? Are you still drawing? And that art at Kenya Art Archives. I would like to know if I can see it.
I haven't gone back in the recent years. I hope it's there, but it must be very cranky and older. Yeah, no, I no longer do art that I would do with my clients. I also ended up doing art therapy in terms of interpreting creative activities in children. So I use a lot of art in. Okay, this is the other hat I also wear. So I had to go back and get a certificate in play therapy, which I have at a certificate level and at a master's level. So I do a lot of doing that with children just to indirectly get to treat children. But however, what is my hobby? I read a lot. I'm an avid reader.
And what is that one book? Because you've said you're an avid reader. What is that one book or resource you'd recommend to young mental health or rehab professionals?
Empowering Yourself by George Shirumbi. It's a new book. I just read it recently. And actually, the gentleman has brought up very practical things. Actually, I would recommend that book because he is completely very practical. And he's an occupational therapist. And he wrote it. So when he was launching it, I was like, okay, let me see through.
Empowering Yourself, you said.
Yeah,
Okay. Got it. A question for me.
Yes, what's your hobby too? It would be nice to know.
I love to watch movies, if that counts. I love to dance. I love to sing sometimes. I love to practice my acting skills. Yes, but I haven't put it out there, like gone to an acting avenue or anything. I write poems sometimes. I draw too. Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's nice. Some similarities.
Another question from you before I ask mine.
I have to give you a shocker. You asked me if I'm occupational therapy new.
Okay, I told you this is going to be tough for me. Hey, okay, what do you mean?
I didn't do it.
You did?
I know.
Oh
You kept me too engaged.
wow.
Yes.
Then that's an up for me though.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Because if I didn't lose you for you to catch that, like, wait, I'm seeing this. I'm good.
That was good on your side. Yeah. You kept me focused.
Okay. Yeah. What is that? What is something people would be surprised to learn about you? Yenye tukisikia tu Celeste, yeah, uko sure that
Ni alifanya hivyo?
Or we don't think you can do. Actually, I wouldn't have said you can draw. I wouldn't have believed that. That's why I'm looking forward. But anyway, that's for me. Now you tell me the ones that people mostly turn heads and be like, wow, for reals?
She did this. Hey, tachoma.
Choma. Choma, wasikilie hapa. Isikia udaku, choma. Choma. Unachomea nani?
Let me leave that for our next meeting.
So umepa swali yangu hivyo. So next meeting inakuja very soon. Okay, my next question. Who inspires you personally and professionally or professionally?
Who is my benchmark in the profession?
When you are a young girl, because we're those decades.
The policewoman.
Yeah, I do Nelson Mandela. But then, you know, when you're telling me about the policewoman in my head, and then you said there's nobody in your family who has ever had a uniform, in my head I told, Amma, you've ever been helped by a very good, nice policewoman? And they're like, I want to be a policewoman. Because I'm like,
Actually, they laugh at it. I ended up being a girl guide because of the police fallacy. Yeah, so I would feel like, we have my emblems around me. Yeah, I'm a miniature of a policewoman. Yeah, I think because I was delving into a new profession, we hardly had mentors around us who inspired us. So we've been grouping in the dark. But what keeps me going is I believe in work well done for the greater humanity.
Okay. What's the best career advice you've ever received?
Yeah, let me compliment this to my daughter, who once told me, Mommy, now that you've got this and this and this and that, why don't you go and do mediation? And I did it. We were the second cohort in the country. And so I'm an accredited judiciary by the judiciary as a mediator.
Actually, you answered my question. What's something people would be surprised to learn about you? What the?
Family court. So me, I do family law. Yeah.
Hey, okay, I'm not holding myself. How many certificates, degrees, and diplomas and all those have you done? Because when we started, we had occupational therapy. There is psychology. There is education. There is play.
Multi-skilled.
Where?
I shock myself by two. Which one do I put on the table if I go for an interview? Yeah? Okay, depending on what you're asking about me is what I'll put for you on the table. Yeah. But they're all interconnected in one way or the other.
Because now, especially now when it's in purpose-driven, one thing I'm learning from you is when you're adding to your education, you're adding it towards what you're doing at the moment and how it's going to make your work easier and even better.
True. I believe in whatever you do it well. Have knowledge about it. Don't group around it.
A question for me.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
5 years.
I have been used to answering 10 years. 5 years, that will make me...
Because in career growth, there should be, your vision board should have a 5 and a 10. What is your 5 one?
Okay, so I've been thinking of 10 though. I'll just have to excuse myself there. But then for 5, if I was to think about it, I see myself, I feel at the moment I'm still in the mastering part. I'm still mastering my art. I'm still collecting to get, that place when you also, I'm using you as an example here. So when Uncle came and was like, try fashion, tailor, art, and then, so I feel I'm still, yes. And so I can't say that I'm still in the beginning. I've found it, but then I'm still mastering it now. I'm still now having the clay, trying to now shape it until it reaches a point I'm like, now I can have it up as a piece. So now in 5 years, I feel now I'll be beyond mastering, and maybe I would have already found my niche, my art. I've strengthened it. I've now, like when we see Celestine, we already have a definitive about her, as much as she's a jack of all trades. Yes, but then there's still, when we hear something, we just outrightly just directly to Celestine. So that is why I now see myself in 5 years, when now I have a definitive term for myself. At the moment, I'm still playing. I'm still playing with plasticine.
That specialization in the area you like. Always look at the passion, what makes me happy. At the end of the day, if I do this assignment, that's wow. For me, my day was good. I've achieved 1 or 2, yeah.
Okay. So my last question for you, and then a last question for me. So what personal trait or soft skill do you consider most important in your line of work?
My soft skill. I'm very receptive. Very, very receptive, and open door policy, and individualizing the people I work with. Actually, I address each individual by their name, personalize attention. Yeah,
That's interesting.
I do that.
Yeah. It creates a place where at least you get to know how to deal with each individual differently, like not in a collective manner. We can be in a collective boardroom, discuss things, but then individually you can get to know how the... Yeah, that's really great. Yeah. Now my question for me, my last...
What is that one thing that would happen to Kerubu and change her career in what she's doing from now?
One thing that would happen to me and change my career? I think if I keep on going on with the health angle, I might end up being a doctor one day. I might decide to be like, you know what? I think I've already had an experience with journalism, so let me just go take a course on public health or something, or specialize.
Medical journalism would be good for you.
In Kenya, I've tried to search for that. I haven't found one. But then I've been asking, there's one mentor who started with being a doctor and then now merged it with now journalism. She was advising now to take like an overall public health, unless I now look
Did I meet as in the media houses? Why am I forgetting her name? She's a doctor. She graduated from med school and she's now a journalist.
Yes, I think you're talking about maybe the same thing almost.
Just the name. I've interacted with her, but the name is just the same.
Yeah, but we'll check.
We'll see that.
Yeah, but anyway, thank you so much. This has been
nice being with you.
It was nice to be with
Thank you. You had a lot of brain triggering questions. Yeah, things I really saw. Okay, but it was good.
So for now, anything that you feel I've left out that is important, a parting shot, call to action, and then you can face the camera now. Yes, anything that you feel like, this is important, and a wrap up for the session. Yes.
Okay, for me, the most important thing is if you realize that probably you are feeling imbalanced in what you're doing, please seek help so that it is doable. There's no health without mental health. Just seek help.
Great. Just seek help.
Help.
Help. Oh, okay. Got that.
Just seek help. Yeah.
Just seek help. Okay, got that right. Just seek help. All right. So, Sawa, thank you so much.
Thank you too, Keribo.
To all our listeners, this has been a deep and insightful conversation, and I hope that you've got to learn something. We've got to learn that healing is not only biological, but relatable, personal, and adaptive. This is Daktari, and to get more of such episodes and insightful conversations, follow us in all our social media platforms, share, and get to interact with more like this. See you then.